And Reuters for sale, a company called Cuban for the second time this year. The company is at the center of the financial problems of the pop group Abba, Agnetha, Benny, Bjorn and Anna Fried, who since 1974 have seemed as good at making money as music. But recently, many of their business deals have taken them, according to some, to the brink of ruin. From Sweden, this report now by Nick Clark.
A new album in the making at the Polar Music Studio in Stockholm. The beat and the style are conventional enough. You won't recognize the group's name, Tove, even if the face of the singer is strangely familiar. But then who could blame these young Swedish hopefuls for trying to tap into the rich vein uncovered by the Polar Studio's owners, Abba, most of whose own hit songs were recorded on this very spot. This was the launching pad for an astonishing career. Even amidst the euphoria of their Eurovision Song Contest victory 9 years ago, no one could have guessed that this group would go on to sell 180 million records and cassettes around the world, even more, it's said, than the Beatles. It brought them fabulous wealth.
It was beyond our imagination, you know. And at that time, during maybe the first 2 years, we had to decide whether to move from Sweden or not. A lot of people would have done that, of course. A lot of people have moved out of Britain even, for tax reasons. But we decided we wanted to stay in Sweden.
Why?
Well, for personal reasons. You know, roots and all that.
Their roots are in a country where tradition, these are the guards at Stockholm's Royal Palace, and a rather staid respectability seem closer to the national character than the wild 1960s sex shop image. What's more, Sweden is a small place, its population about the same as that of London. In such an atmosphere, Abba were transformed from mere stars into a phenomenon. In this well-ordered society with its limited markets, anything Abba did with their money was bound to attract attention. So how could the never-ending flood of funds be put to constructive use? The group turned first for advice to the man who'd masterminded their Eurovision triumph. Stickan Andersson was a talented music producer who took to the role of entrepreneur like a fish to water.
Well, I think I was thinking in financial terms. I wanted to have money left after that the group wasn't popular any longer, and that is probably very unusual in our business. And then when all this big money came in, it wasn't possible to put them into the music industry in this territory, so we decided, or I decided, to diversify. And that's how it all started, really.
The diversification took many forms, each, for a time, seeming to leave the Abba empire in better shape. The 19th century's Stockholm bathhouse had given its name to a rather sleepy property company, the smallest on the Stockholm Stock Exchange. Until Stickan Andersson's financial team bought up a large stake. The Abba name brought a cascade of new investment, and the company now has a market value of £36 million. A leasing company called Infina was set up, which went public last year and is now worth £20 million. As the group thrived and the empire grew, the Swedish establishment sat up and took notice. By 1979, Abba could claim a higher return on working capital than the mighty Volvo. Apart from a brief and expensive flirtation with the oil market in 1980, which lost them nearly £5 million, everything Andersson touched turned to gold. This, believe it or not, is the song that set Stickan, the music producer, on his way when it became a hit for a singer called Lil Babs. Stickan, once a small-town maths teacher, now lives in the plushest corner of Stockholm, on an island owned by the Swedish royal family, where the very wealthy can find seclusion 5 minutes from the city centre, and the general public can only stand and stare. In the marina nearby is the boat on which the family sail to a holiday home out in the archipelago. The house itself is sumptuously appointed. Anderson shows the visitor round with pride and joy in his achievement. Reliable estimates now put the fortune of the man and his family at something like £15 million. Those same estimates suggest the figure is 60% higher than it would have been if he'd simply put his money into the building society. But did he worry as he had to spend more and more time on business?
Very good Swedish.